Hello, you people in close proximity to a fruit that's often confused with a vegetable. I'm Jim Sterling, and this is NIER AUTOMATA. That's fucking brilliant. So, we've done a video on NIER AUTOMATA already, and that's how I'm pronouncing it, by the way. That was early first impressions. This is basically post-game impressions. I beat the game already several times. I've got endings A, B, C, D, and E. That's all the ones, isn't it? Yeah, they're all the main ones. As well as a couple of the joke endings. I basically played the shit out of it, and I've come to the conclusion that it's one of the most important games of the year, if not one of the most important games, basically, ever. By the way, spoilers incoming. I mean, everything you're looking at now is a spoiler, technically, so turn it off if you don't want any of that happening. This is from playthrough B. This is me playing as 9S, who is the protagonist who takes over the second playthrough. When you beat the game, you get the option to play the game again, except they've switched protagonists, and there's extra content and more side quests, and then you get to play it a third time, where the game is basically the sequel to itself. The whole thing's fucked up. The game is incredible. It could only exist as a video game. I said that in my review. That I put out today, actually, and check that out on thejimquisition.com. This footage I've got here is basically my rise as the Robot King. You can hack as 9S, as the second protagonist. You can hack into robots. Usually in a combat situation they explode, but if you can catch them unawares, you can remote control them or subjugate them. And then I had this fun idea of looking at this robot up here leading the other robots, these robots in particular in the forest. Have become very loyal to a king and act like an army. So I took over this one that was leading these and then decided I would become the robot king of the forest myself. So that's what I did after messing around. This is dialogue from this robot when normally it screams that as it goes down to fight, but because I brought it down, it's chatting. So I'm just messing around with that. You can basically take over any robot in the game, and they've all got different attacks and things, hence me fiddling around and playing with this now. But anyway, this footage is mostly I just wanted to show it off because it shows you just how far you can take ideas in NIER AUTOMATA. The whole hacking thing, yeah, that's cute, but you can really go hell for leather with it. And do what I end up doing in this video. But that's also background for me to just talk about this game, which is... It's just incredible. Like I said, it could only have existed as a game. The things it does with the medium, it relies on it being an interactive experience, and it then subverting what you expect from interactive experiences. It messes with genres. I mean, you can see this is a twin-stick shooter as a hacking minigame. You've got your traditional action, third-person action sequences. And you have a bunch of other stuff. There's little text adventure-y stuff that harks back to the first NIER, but it's in a more accessible package, this one. Platinum Games took over the combat and everything, making just a better combat situation overall. So as you can see here, I've subjugated 3 of them while they were all distracted, and they decimated the rest of them. And then I march off to conquer the rest of the forest. As I said in my review, what this game really impresses me with, as well as just what it does as a video game and what it does with the medium of video games, is it doesn't just ask questions about the human condition and leave it at that, like a lot of games. Some games, when they try and be quote-unquote emotional and try and be clever and philosophical, they'll quote Nietzsche a few times and then say the words the human condition and that'll be it. This one doesn't just go, but what is to be human? And that's it. This puts on the rubber gloves and puts its hand right up the anus of that question to find the deeply unpleasant answers. And there are some unpleasant answers and implications in this game. It's a tragic game, a very, very tragic game, as is most of everything to do with NIER and Drakengard. Both of them being associated series, both sharing the same universe indeed. It's a very it's a very convoluted and confusing series, but that's also part of what makes it good, even though those words are supposed to be bad words from a critical standpoint. But it's genius. And I realise I've kind of spent all my critical faculties this morning writing the review, which is why I'm just sounding a bit dopey, like I'm in love with the thing. Just, oh, it's brilliant. It's got the cutest smile. But I just can't get over the things it does. And I realised that the first NIER did a lot of similar things with multiple playthroughs and different endings and just the sheer despair of it all. But this game's just way better because they very wisely brought in some veterans to do the combat, which was the big thing. That's why I never really progressed all that far with the first NIER. I didn't feel compelled to play through it more than once, to play through it multiple times, to see all the different secrets and endings and everything. Because combat-wise and gameplay structure-wise, it just turned me off somewhat. Whereas this, it's got a flow to it, a fluidity to it, that really encourages you to play more and more and more, to the point where, when I finally realised I'd gotten all the important endings, I was quite sad. To say nothing of the choice that the game, the final request the game makes of you at the end, that I acquiesced to. And the way the game signed itself off was possibly the biggest tearjerker in the thing. Just the way it addressed you as the player. There was just something so very heartfelt and sincere about it. And that's something this game wears on its sleeve for everybody to see, as a deep sincerity. It's a very genuine game, and I am so glad I played it, and I'm so glad despite my misgivings with the original NIER and everything, I'm so glad I gave this the full shot and played through it as many times as I did and did as much as I did in it, because it's fucking NIER Automata, son, and I cannot recommend people play it enough. And I realised this was less of a Gimpressions and more of a puff piece, but there you go. NIER Automata. Fucking amazing.